So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the differences between toxic shame and healthy shame. So I just want to put aside and just let it be known that shame is natural. Shame is something that occurs and is a part of not only our emotions, but our way as adapting as a species. You need shame and you need that to take accountability. Shame is the driving force behind taking accountability and being responsible for something. Usually when someone is irresponsible, usually when someone is reckless, and usually when they make a choice, usually affecting the group, affecting the pack, since we are primates, they're ashamed. And that shame is what helps them evolve. It's what children need to feel a certain amount of shame when they involve in characteristics that hurt groups of people and hurt themselves. Just putting that aside. And shame is a signal in your brain that is important for your development. And the thing is, when you start to then weaponize shame, it becomes a weapon instead of a tool for growth. We have in our society where people are shamed for things that are natural, things that ordinarily don't affect anyone else, if that makes sense. And that becomes something extremely destructive that destroys the mind and destroys the soul. And I'm here to kind of make the differences between the two. So healthy shame makes accountability the forefront. It makes shame something that you feel when you hurt someone else. As I'm getting ready, had just had misdirected anger and hurt someone who had tried to reach out to me because of a misunderstanding. And now I feel ashamed and now I feel guilt. And the only way then is I can move forward from that. I'm literally being realistic about it. Like it literally just happened, is to understand that, okay, how can I take accountability for this and how can I best move forward in a way where that doesn't happen again? Because the truth is, now I've wronged this person and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it, and they just have this negative impression of me that will be there forever, especially when the person did not deserve that thing that had been imposed upon them. That is shame, and it starts when children are very young. Children are very curious, and children are not very aware of harm. They're not very aware of consequences, and the consequences that you need to show them are that these things aren't okay, and the best way to do that is to hold them accountable. Of course, punishment will come in, but then there is no reward for punishing yourself for something that you should ordinarily not be shamed for. The way shame has weaponized itself in our society as a weapon. That sounds so stupid. Let me use another word. Weaponized itself in society as like a stigma is a way of bringing people out who have not done anything wrong, who are existing in their truth, and shaming them for it. And it's a way to keep people in control. I'm getting super sociological here, but it's important to understand the way that shame can be used. Shame is oftentimes used within religion. It's oftentimes used within cults, all the kind of spaces where there are groups of people and you need to keep them in line. You need to shame them and you need to make sure that they can control them. It's very important to understand how shame in your life has taken control over you. Has it affected how you interact with other people? For me, for so long, it had affected my social anxiety, the way that I chose to interact with people, whether I was unworthy, or has it affected the way that I go towards love? Feeling like I will never be loved, feeling like I will never be accepted. Because what shame does, especially when it's used as a weapon in the way that it's used in our society, is it makes people feel unaccepted. It makes people feel like they're not a part of the group. And because we're social creatures with complex social structures, if we feel as though we are not a part of the group, we feel as though it is affecting our survival. We need the group and we need other people to survive. We as human beings, for the first 1 year of our lives, cannot even fend for ourselves. Our human design, because of evolution, requires us to connect with other human beings, and shame is usually what stifles the process of connection when young adults and young children are starting to socialize starting to socialize themselves and being socialized into the society that we're in. Toxic shame can take up your entire identity. Your identity is filled with shame. It's filled with how people had shamed you, and you then cannot walk into life being authentic. You Authenticity is stepping into your identity. Shame is taking another identity as your own. You take another identity of your own because you believe that who you are is insignificant, that it was not useful for survival. Human beings have found a way to sort of connect with the world and connect with themselves at large. And it is broken when you step into a connection and it's inauthentic because one, that person, you are being deceitful. A person doesn't know you for who you are. And when you walk into that relationship, you are creating a false connections, and false connections never last. True and real connect, and I think that's what people are like, oh, I hate love, I hate this, I hate whatever. You have been forming false connections with other people, and then the results end up super messy, and then you actually start to hate connections with other people. You will love connections with people, with things, with animals, with whatever, if it's genuine. I think that's why you have people I've seen on my TikTok, people feel like they have more of a connection with animals and they prefer animals. It's weird. I love animals. I'm an animal lover. I'm a vegetarian, but usually these people have not formed a sense of true connection with other human beings, and it's fragmented their sense of self. And because they don't have to put on that, they can be authentic with the animals or the inanimate objects or the parasocial relationships that don't really require true connection, because you can really truly only fully I'm not saying you can't connect with animals. I literally have my cat's ashes there at the back. I'm super connected with animals. Like, I even believe in familiars and all that because that's the practice I sort of believe in. But you can only truly fully connect with another human being. Anything else is why you call relationships with celebrities parasocial, or I don't know, the ones that you use to describe with animals. It has its own name, but you can only fully connect with another human being that's right in front of you. And it's not to say the rest of those connections are false, it's just to say that there is a sort of incompletion. And when you are void of that connection, it starts to affect the way that you then interact with other human beings and how you perceive them. I don't like people. I'm very reserved, introverted in certain aspects, but it's still important that when I started to connect with other human beings and different types of human beings, my relationships with them changed. I started to have less biases or bias. I started to have a realistic understanding of, okay, this is why people respond the way that they do. I started to also have an understanding and take things less personally because I had more connections with other people. It's important to understand that you have to foster those connections with other people and understand when and how toxic shame played a part in stifling that. What aspect of yourself did people make you feel was not enough? And that comes with shadow work. I'll link it there, the different ways you can do shadow work. But you then understand, and then when you then find that aspect of yourself that was shamed, that was stigmatized, you then find people like you and find your tribe. That's the goal. The goal is not to prove yourself where you're unworthy. The goal is to find a space where you don't even have to prove yourself at all. That's the goal. Find a space where you don't have to prove yourself or prove your worth, and that your value is inherently seen and not something you have to defend. That's the goal, and that's where I hope that we can get to when we start to decipher what is the difference between toxic shame versus healthy shame. So the most important thing is you have to find the origin of the toxic shame. Was it childhood criticism? Was it bullying? And what that thing is, it creates inner cycle or inner critique and shame loops. And then it goes on and on again, and those voices in your head keep on going. Why am I the way that I am? Why do people not accept me? Why do I not feel seen? Why do I constantly feel like I'm wearing a mask, or I'm acting, or I'm performing? This will come and stem from you deciding to make a choice where you feel seen and you feel authentic. And it starts by understanding, where does this come from? So it could start by being the black sheep. And most people who are connected to my channel will probably see the first video Are You a Child of the Shadow? It's a very important one to watch. And it simply kind of stems from all the ways that you could have been stigmatized or been the scapegoat of your family, which will then have the shame. Or sometimes you could even watch someone be the scapegoat and then feel like, ooh, I need to survive and understand the ways that it happens. When you're a child and when you're growing up, especially when you have siblings, you are fighting for survival. That is what it is. You are fighting for your siblings. That's really how it is in the wild. You usually fight for their siblings. They fight their siblings for attention, love, resources, and the toughest person wins. And we don't understand that when we have spats with our siblings because we're compared, we're prodded, we're just like, it's something we don't understand till we get older and we're like, huh, this is what happens, because that is just the natural selection that happens when social creatures have to then fight for social approval from those who are providing the resources. And the truth is, the relationships that you have with your parents it's always going to be very what's the word, there's a power imbalance. Your parents have all the resources, your parents have all the guidance, your parents have all the wisdom, and you're left to then rely on the parents or your guardian to then steep's not the word, I keep on saying stupid things, to then get resources and get all the kind of things that you need from them. And it's important to understand that as you grow into an adult, that kind of environment is usually not fostered for you to become your true and most authentic self. And usually the responses that you have from them will then start to affect the relationships you have now, affect the life you have now. And then it's important to get to a point where you can be like, okay, how is this affecting my life? The way that I see this, and it's controversial, and I hope no one takes it personally, especially my mom, in the sense where I think that most times, at least how I've always felt, you are property of your parent. And for me, as soon as you get older, you give the lease back to them and then you can do whatever the fuck you want with your life. That's how I see it. So it's important to understand when you're an adult that you have to, and even if it feels like you are still under that property lease, you're still responsible for yourself. The decisions you make above a certain age are yours and yours to bear. So when they start to affect other relationships and start to affect the way that you're moving in life, your parents can only do so much. Your parents only know so much, and your parents can only help you to grow in the ways that they can. People can't do things that they don't even have access to. Like, we are so privileged in many ways, in the sense where there's so much information and things we have access to that our parents do not have access to. And it's important to understand that no one will ever parent you better than you parent yourself. That's the whole point. No one will ever parent you better than you parent yourself. And it's important to understand where the origin of all these things come from. And I think it's important to see, how does shame show up for you? How is shame stifling you from doing certain things? And then when you see how it shows up in your body, maybe it shows up when you're trying to socialize, speak up for yourself and advocate for yourself. Maybe it shows up when you're trying to choose things for your life, like you're trying to make autonomous choices. Toxic shame and healthy shame, it's so complex. I really have to rush to go somewhere, so I can't go into it as much as I can, but I could make a part two. But since I've gone in on toxic shame, it's important to understand the healthy shame, because what toxic shame does, the cycle, because I've mentioned the origin sort of healthy shame in the previous clip. Now you've had the toxic shame ruining your life, and then it then affects the decisions that you make and makes you an unethical person and do things and affects and stifles your relationships. Now you have to incorporate the healthy shame and start to take accountability and be like, okay, it's so funny, literally just before this video I just displayed toxic shame. I had abandonment issues and I was so rude to a person that didn't deserve it. Then I was able to then sit down and be like, this is why I feel shame, and this is why I projected this shame onto this person. And this is how I can then take accountability for what it is I have done and how it is I choose to move forward now and understand that who the person was, he is not responsible for my shortcomings, or he's not responsible for the way that I choose to navigate situations because of toxic shame. That was a choice that I made, and then I've hurt that person, and now I need to move forward and do better for me so that I don't make choices that then start to harm other people. So that's how you can sort of, I think I've done a good explanation of how you start with, we should start with healthy shame and a commentary on society as to how we need to start with holding people accountable. And what I see as discipline instead of hitting your kids is a sense of like instilling that healthy shame, like, no, don't do that, and showing them right from wrong. And then as we grow older, where that's not the case, and we are then held to a standard that should not even exist, where it's shame for things that are beyond our control, things that are authentic to who we are, we then get into that process of integration of the shadow, integration of all the things that people have have told us not to accept about ourselves, and then take accountability, see where it comes from, and see how we can then expand our lives. It's Asha Lovely Day telling you and making sure to have a lovely day. You can subscribe to my Patreon if you're interested. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And it's your medicine woman here. I love you all so much.
The Medicine Woman.